Remember this immediately. Tony.
It's not Tony Danza.
No, and my hair. God, I'm just gonna shave my head. I can't take this anymore.
So Paul, my wife committed a crime, and I have to call her out for this, and because this is a big deal.
All right.
So as you're aware, Paul, I went to the office this week, which means I was gone Tuesday, Wednesday, and I got home Thursday evening. Monday evening, we watch a show together. First episode. It's not even a new show. It's called Suits. It's been out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd never seen it. My wife had never seen it. We watched the first episode together. We both agreed we liked the show.
Yep. Did she ruin the ending or something?
I go to the office and she calls me up. She's like, "Oh yeah, I watched a bunch more episodes without you."
Wow.
And I was like, "What do you?"
Wow.
I was like, "I thought we were like gonna." She's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you wanted to watch that." I was like,
So this is a weird coincidence, Brad, because this morning, and I think it was in the Washington Post, I read this article, which I normally wouldn't read, and it was about like relationship type stuff. And there was a famous, God, I'm not gonna remember the term. Maybe you know what this is. 5 years ago, someone came up with a book, and it made all the rounds and everything, and it was about like love notes or love something. Like people have like they have different expectations from their spouse. Like some people are into touch, some people are into service, like you silently do things for me around the house, and that is really meaningful to me, that kind of thing. Love letter, I forget what the term was. Anyway, one of those things was an innate understanding of what shows we watch together and what shows you watch by yourself. And I literally just read this morning, and I thought, actually, that's very true. I mean, I have certain things, like I'll watch Netflix if I don't travel anymore by myself, but when I used to for work, or, you know, if my wife's out at the gym one night and I'm home and I got an hour to kill, like there are things I watch. Like I don't ask my wife, except jokingly, to watch like World War II documentaries, although for some reason there's a new one every 3 weeks now. Like I know that she doesn't care about this, and I know that she would appreciate the fact that I just watch these by myself, you know. But like we just finished watching the most recent half season of Ozark. It's one of those, you know, things that you got to binge watch it. Every episode basically is kind of a little cliffhanger. You don't watch ahead. What was she going to do? Like sit there and watch it with you when you got back? Or was she going to tell you a 30-minute story about how everything went? Then you could just pick up where she was.
I don't know. I slashed her tires, so now we're even.
I'm not saying divorce, you know. I'm not going there right away, but I mean, maybe just move in that direction.
Yeah, just keep a list of like, well, she watched the show. She didn't wash the dishes correctly that I agree with, but she has her own. Anyways, she told me that. I was like,
That's just a weird coincidence. Because I just read about it. I was just reading this, and I don't normally read. I don't trend toward the relationship part of the paper.
You don't read Misconnections, Paul Thurrott?
Nope, I do not. Yeah.
Strange. Would have guessed you to do that too.
Anyway. Not a fan of like the how we met stories that for some reason are in huge newspapers.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't love at first sight, but it will be a love forever. Ugh. Why is that in the New York Times, one might ask?
I'll tell you what really grinded my gears after. So like my wife tells me that, and then I go read this lovely blog post by Microsoft legal counsel Brett Smith, talking about this very virtuous take Microsoft's going to do in the App Store. They lay out all these golden rules. I mean, they're leaving the fact that on the side that like that nobody uses the App Store, but they're like, we're gonna make this perfect, Paul Thurrott. We are gonna let you use whatever money processor you want. We are not gonna use your data against you. We are gonna do this the right way, but we're not doing it on Xbox because we actually make money there.
Now that is a very accurate paraphrasing of that letter. They promised to move in that direction on Xbox. Microsoft, by losing in a couple of markets, has a new kind of worldview in those markets, right? They lost in mobile.
Yep.
They lost in mobile app stores.
Yep.
And they lost the last generation. They've kind of lost overall in video games. And it's caused them to rethink how they approach these markets. Now, I think it's fair to say still struggling in mobile. There's been ideas, Neo, Duo, blah, 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 whatever. But okay, fine. Windows 10X, whatever. Okay. They're working on that one. But as a gamer, as an Xbox gamer specifically, I appreciate what they've done in with the Xbox platform. I think it's kind of incredible, and I think it's fair to say that they're going to run up against some economic realities, but they clearly intend to go down this path, and thanks to defeat, I don't know how else to put this, they are uniquely positioned to make this acquisition, right?
Yep.
Like, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the other thing, and I brought this up a couple of times, I just thought this was a really smart thing. Windows Weekly, Mary Jo mentioned the phrase institutional memory. A lot of the old guard Microsoft guys are gone now.
Yeah, they're all on Amazon.
Yeah, they're all, or Meta or wherever they are.
Yeah.
But one of the few people who is left, Brad Smith. Brad Smith, I don't remember when he started at the company, but he entered the legal part of it.
Yeah.
Right around the time Bill Newcomb left, right at the conclusion of Microsoft's U.S. antitrust. Right. So this guy, Brad Smith, the guy who wrote that letter that you're referring to, that open letter, has that institutional memory of Microsoft's antitrust days. And my God, there couldn't be a sharper contrast between this reaching out approach proactively and the way they dug in their heels, especially in the U.S., but by the way, also incredibly belligerent in Europe. And both of those things ended, well, they ended how they ended. They kind of, wars don't usually end like a stunning blast of finality. They usually just kind of peter out. But they did, in both cases, just kind of peter out. But they didn't go well, I think it's fair to say, for Microsoft. So I agree with you. What you just said is absolutely correct. But on the other hand, I think because of their defeats, a new, humbler Microsoft may end up doing the right thing and may inform the industry that it is not leading in this case.
Yeah.
About the right way to do things.
Yep.
Right.
I fully agree with everything you just said. It was just the irony of the one place that Microsoft could do it today, the one place where they have a walled garden, they're not doing it. After telling everybody else they shouldn't.
If you're looking for me to admit that that's hypocritical, let me
pull out the scroll of other things they've done.
One of my favorite jokes of all time applies to this. Greg Kinnear used to host The Daily Show when it first started. The Daily Show that became kind of like the Jon Stewart thing that most people can, think of when they think of The Daily Show. And one of his great jokes is he did a fake interview with then Chancellor of Germany, Helmut Kohl. And at the time they were going after Scientologists, and he kind of said to the guy, like, given your history with religious groups, I don't understand how Germany could be going after another religious group. And then Helmut Kohl didn't really say, but in the joke interview said, Craig, it's like riding a bike. And, I think when it comes to like the antitrust stuff, it's like that's, it's like, look, we've been there. Like we get it. And I think look, we'll see what happens. I think Microsoft is sincere in their desire to push forward to a better world for app stores. But by the way, they did make the point, and I do think this is relevant too. The difference between an app store on Windows or on mobile, like iOS or Android, and one on a console, is that consoles are specifically sold at a loss because you make it up in these other ways. And I think to outsiders, they're like, it does sound hypocritical when you complain that Apple and Google are doing this thing, but you're doing exactly the same thing in the Xbox store, and then Sony's doing the same thing in their store and all that kind of thing. And on the surface it looks hypocritical, but the size of those markets are incredibly different. Mobile is in several billions of people. Yeah. Consoles are in tens of millions for Xbox.
That's fair. Very fair.
Right. It's a much, much smaller market. And phones are sold, Apple and, well, I don't know Google, but Apple sells phones at an incredible profit. We've talked about this, the margin thing. Tacking on those fees later, you're just piling on. It's like you've already had a blowout victory and you've left your starting quarterback in, which, by the way, you guys better do in the Super Bowl, and have decided just to run up the score.
Look, I am a nervous wreck for this weekend.
I know. I'm sorry.
Of course
you are.
Sunday at 10 p.m. cannot come soon enough. One way or another, like my anxiety in life will either be gone forever, or I'll be a slobbing mess, but one way or another, it's coming to an end.
So Monday morning when we do the show, I expect to see like overturned beer cans and like peanut shells and stuff on your desk, like
it's gonna be rough.
Banners.
It's gonna be rough one way or another. Either because I haven't gone to bed yet because I've been running around the neighborhood lighting off fireworks, or because I just woke up from sleeping on the couch in the basement.
No, I understand, and I know you think I don't because, I lived in New England. But you got to remember, before 2001, we had a little bit of a drought, right? I mean, the last time a Boston sports team had won a championship of any kind before that was '86, So,
yeah,
15. What is that? 15.
We'll see. Other things that are nervous wreck is probably Google because they're waking up again to another complaint.
See, I think this is just like riding a bike. They're like, whatever, just put it in the file with the other ones.
Just put it in the to-do box.
Does it even resonate anymore?
Yeah.
What are they complaining about? Oh, yeah, ads. Okay. Yeah, put it in the ad drawer with the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, literally, this article, like, these guys, like, this is, yeah, I have it right here. So they cited similar cases or similar charges, I should say, brought against them from the French Competition Authority, the UK Competition and Markets Authority, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, the U.S. Department of Justice, and several U.S. states. Like, seriously, like it's like we're just complaining about the same thing as everyone else. Can we do something about it?
Yeah. Did you see
classic.
Too, that I think it might have been part of this complaint that they ruled that Google Analytics is not GDPR compliant, which is
God, please let that be true.
Like that is
right.
That is massive because that's the industry standard.
Yeah. It's going to be one of these little things that does it, right? It's like the snowball effect. Because honestly, as a consumer, the fact that Google or Facebook have this like ad duopoly or whatever you want to call it is like whatever. Mm-hmm. The fact that they make a ton of money on that is disturbing. But really, what I'm more concerned about, just as a human being or a person or whatever, is the tracking.
Yep.
That kind of stuff, the grossness of that. And then just the unfairness of the App Store stuff. To me, that's job one. Like these arbitrary 30% fees that in no way correlate to any cost that those companies have related to the maintenance of app stores, of the supposed oversight of those stores, is just the fact that these companies are digging in on that point is so crazy, and I think should inform anyone about the true aim of these businesses. Which, yes, is to make money. I mean, they're businesses. Mm-hmm. I get that. But, in both cases, Google and Apple talk about privacy all the time and how important it is and how much they care about users and rights and blah, 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 and whatever. And it's like they're just doing the wrong thing for all of their constituents, audiences, customers, developers, however you want to say it. It's just I just hope this all – I feel like there's so much of it now. Like something has to happen. Something's going to give,
Something will give.
I think so.
We'll give up on this episode and we'll be back on Monday, one way or another.
Yep.